Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do our second week of Christmas Card Corner, and we're going to use this template here that we made earlier in the week. And it's a pretty easy card, so I'm going to open this up so we can read our directions here. I've got card base of black that's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4, and we're going to give this a nice burnish here so that it lays flat. And then I've got our next layer is piece of cardstock that goes out here on the outside. For this one I'm using a piece of gold foil, and this is 4 by 5, and it's going to go down here. This is our first layer. Now normally when it comes to using gold like this, I would have tried to cut something out of this to preserve some paper. But considering that our pattern pieces are going to show some of this gold through it, I was afraid that I wouldn't get things cut out in the right place and it would show. So I'm just going to sacrifice the whole piece to beauty, right? Because you can't have enough gold foil. So let's get some adhesive on this. I'm going to open this up here and get this centered on our card. So we're going to do something like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, our next layer is going to be, the next thing on our recipe here, or template, is any colored cardstock for the inside. So I do have a piece of white that's 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to stamp on that here in a minute. And then for the pattern paper, I'm using this new paper that's called Modern Christmas, and I'll just show you the paper here. This is just beautiful black, white, and gold paper that is just so classy and elegant. I just love this paper. So all of the front sides have some gold to them, and the back sides are of course more muted, but black and white. So very nice. So we're going to use this piece right here. So for 2 of our pieces, we're going to use this side, and we're going to use the back side for our third piece. So I have got a piece of white that goes up here in the corner, and we're going to stamp on this, and that is 2.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to put that over there in our to be stamped pile. I'm just going to give this another little burnish here. Let's see if I can get that to lay a little flatter. There we go. Now for our pattern paper, I've got 3 pieces here. One that's 1 1/4 by 3.5. It's going to go here, so we're going to use the back side of this one. Then I've got 1 1/4 by 2.5 that we're going to put down here, and 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 that's going to go up there. But before we do that, before we put those down, I want to do our stamping. So I'm going to use stamps from the Ornamental Christmas stamp set that came in this suite with the Modern Christmas, and we're going to use this Merry Christmas here, and wishing you peace and joy, and then this little swishy thing here we're going to put underneath of our sentiment. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So I've got our wishing you peace and joy. I'm going to go ahead and ink up here. I'm just going to do it this way. That way I can make sure that I'm getting it all covered. So we'll go ahead and line this up on the glass mat, and we'll get this put down here centered at the top of our card. Hopefully straight. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then, so then for our outside piece, our little piece here, we're going to do Merry Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on our block. And that looks very crooked, so let me try again to try to get that as straight as possible. I always hope that if I start with it somewhat straight, I will end up with it straight. So let's go ahead and ink this piece up. And we'll go ahead and put this at the top of our little piece of paper here, because we need some room at the bottom for our swooshy piece. So I'm going to try to center it left to right and get it up as far as I can go without getting off the piece of paper. So just like that. And then we'll get our swooshy piece here. And on the stamp set, on the front cover, you can see it goes like this. But I think you could turn it over and do it this way if you wanted to as well. There's nothing that says you have to do it this direction, but I think that's what we're going to do just this time. So we'll ink this one up. Make sure I have it all. It's so funny because it doesn't look like you've got it all. There's such a fine detail to them that just looking at it, it doesn't look like you've managed to get it all inked. But when you stamp it, it always seems to work. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, so let's get this one right down here at the bottom. So just like that. Looks good. Okay, let's get the lid put back on the ink before I stick my finger in it. And we will go ahead and get our inside put down. And then the front will go really fast. There's just not a lot to this. It's a very basic card, but it does turn out being very cute. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside here, centered as best as possible. And now on the outside, we're going to put the big piece down first so that I can maneuver the little pieces around it and try to keep my the space between this and the pattern paper pretty consistent. So this one I'm going to just barely lay down here. I'm not going to push any of them down until I'm ready to commit. So I'm trying to get an even edge around that on the top and on the right. And then this piece will go at the bottom. So we're going to lay that right down here. So I want a gap between this. I think we need to move this up just a bit. We need some more room. So not quite as big a margin at the top there. There we go. Let's try that. And this gives us now room, except I need to move it to the right or to the left. Sorry, just a tad bit. So something like that. And if you have to kind of turn your card base so you can see better, it's fine. So that is crooked, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Let's move this just a little bit here. So this helps me to line it up on this outside edge. So that looks better. Okay, now, next piece. So we're going to have this side up, so the B side up on this piece. So I'm going to put some seal on this. Again, I'm going to turn this just so I can better see what I'm doing here. And I really think we could move these over to the left just a little. We seem to have a huge gap on this edge, but not so much on this right hand edge, so I like that better. So let's move this one. Even though I didn't push down, it really sticks. Okay, the good thing is it'll come right up off of the foil if you don't push down too hard. Okay, let's see. There we go. That looks better. Okay, last piece. Let's get this one down. And this one is going to go, let's see. I'm going to make sure I've got it the same direction basically as this one. I'm not sure it matters, but I'm going to go right there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to push all these down so they're nice and adhered. Okay, there we go. Now, only thing left we need is some bling. And I've got some of these druzy gems. I just love these because of their sparkle. And I'm going to go ahead and use... I'm trying to decide which we should use. I think I'm going to use these kind of clearer ones just so that they won't compete with the gold foil. Let's see. I need a little one. We're going to put, say, right there, and then another littler one over here. And there is our card. Just elegant. I just love this black, white, and gold. Okay, let's take a look at the others that I made. So I've got one that the paper is still available. So this one is using that Nests of Winter paper. And this is the back side of this piece of paper. And then I just stamped a bird from the stamp set and colored that in with some blends. So we've got that one. And then this one is retired paper. But this, I don't know if you can see, but I cut this stocking out of the pattern paper with the die that came with this, and then I put some Wink of Stella on it to give it some glitter. And so we've got Wishing You Joy and Happiness. And then the last one is also some retired paper. But let's celebrate the season and wishing you joy and happiness. So there are our Christmas cards for this week. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and drop me a comment below and let me know which one of these is your favorite. I really like this because I like the elegance, but I'm a sucker for this too. I like the stocking. So these two are my favorite. Let me know which one's yours. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. And I will be back on Friday with this week's Fun Fold Friday. So I will see you then. Have a crafty evening. Bye.